I was born and raised in South Dakota. Grew up on a family farm. It was a great place to grow up. I loved high school. I probably paid more attention to sports than I did academics. Then went to in Bartlesville, Oklahoma. Got a job right out of college and started, my work in a small rural church in North Dakota. And so was there for 3 years, then spent some time in Aberdeen, South Dakota, and then moved out here in 1985. It's sort of water, and I need some training. My wife's name is Joy. Our first date, I was 15 years old. She was 13. We got married when I was 20. She was 19, and have been married a long time now. We've had just a great life. We got married in 1976 and have 2 kids, Tina and Tyler. They're both married and 3 grandkids. So just feel so blessed with my family. We moved to Aurora the summer of 1985 and then moved to Northwest Aurora to Ward 1 in 2012. From the very beginning, we wanted to live here. Felt a calling to Northwest Aurora. Felt like that was where we were supposed to be. That it was a community that had challenges, but also a beautiful, diverse community. And my story is kind of weird in that growing up in South Dakota is one of the most mono-ethnic places on the face of the earth. But everybody had the same political views, same personal views, and sometimes I thought differently than other people, but didn't feel like, especially as a kid, that you express those sort of things. Moving here just felt like home. It felt like I could be who I really was, and I've always sort of been curious about other people and from other places and languages and experiences, and I found that to be so enriching to learn about other people's journeys. And it was like 20 years ago now. I realized that I had lived in Aurora at that point for some time, but really wasn't very involved in the community. I was doing my job, raised my family, staying to myself, and it felt like convicted of that. Felt like that was wrong, that I needed to branch out. And I suppose it's part of my personality that when I chose to take a different route, I jumped in fully, completely. And so I immediately met with local elected officials, asked them about what was going on in the community, how I could be involved, how I could be engaged, and found open doors everywhere. And so I found myself involved in all sorts of things. Police department, use of force investigation, community groups, other nonprofits. I've done a lot of different things, gained quite a bit of different experiences. Cash flow, understood cost and sales, and a variety of things like that. Been involved in a couple of building projects, so starting new ventures. I always had sort of this bit of an entrepreneurial spirit. We started a daycare center, advertised and did all those things, set up all the policies and procedures, got all the government requirements, and then had to run that business. And then with the city, have been really deeply involved with many things around public safety in the police department. So I've served on several different police department initiatives and boards and committees. I served for 6.5 years as chair of the Aurora Community of Faith. More recently, I have been the chair of the Aurora Key Community Response Team. So it's not a city group, it's a community group, but very closely connected to the city. I am not a career politician and really have no interest in launching a new career, but care deeply about this community. There's some real challenges in our community. Boarded up buildings, businesses moving out, the sense and the reality of crime and people afraid, and that's just not acceptable. And realized that in many ways, I had been so involved in the community that this wasn't a different direction. My life wasn't changing significantly. It was just taking another step in that same kind of direction. That I had been serving the community in lots of different ways, and that this was a way to actually enhance that same thing. That if I could be there when city council was making important decisions like hiring a police chief, things like setting the budget where there millions of dollars are at stake that show the community priorities, using that influence from that position to work with the school board and work with counties and state people to make sure that our community was safer, better, more productive. And that all of those things, all the great things that are available in our community were available to everyone. Not just a few, not just the elite, not just the rich, but were available for everyone. And so after all of that kind of soul searching and thinking, it just seemed like, yes, that was in fact the proper next step for me. And after talking to my family and other kinds of friends, I'm excited to be in this venture and moving forward, and look forward to doing even more for the community in the coming years.